Hey everyone, this is Susan with Blended Insight, and I wanted to share my podcast that includes tips for financial abundance. The reason I wanted to share this particular podcast here on my YouTube channel is because it is the holiday season and I'm receiving lots of inquiries regarding financial abundance and how to create more and to enjoy this holiday season without breaking the bank. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. And to subscribe to my podcasts, all you have to do is go to Podbean and look up Blended Insight, or even on iTunes, Blended Insight, and you will find my podcasts, all of them there. You can subscribe to them, and then you will be the first to get notified when I post new ones. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Blended Insight podcast. Hello, bright souls, and thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Susan and I am with Blended Insight, and I am an energy healer, an intuitive, and a holistic/integrative wellness practitioner. And all any of that means is that I love to learn, grow, develop, and evolve, and then share everything that I've learned to help others do the same. On today's podcast, I want to share 3 energetic financial abundance tips. There's all kinds of abundance, but for this podcast, I'm going to talk about financial abundance, because that's up for a lot of people, and it's one of the most popular things that I'm asked about or that people want to work on is their abundance. So let's get started. Tip number 1, think about why you want abundance, financial abundance. What do you think that having more money will bring into your life? What is the feeling that you think that item or that money will bring? So, for example, it's kind of a way of peeling back the layers to see what it is that you're really after. So let's just say someone says, I want money so that I can buy a new home. Okay, so what do you think that the home will do for you? Well, the home will allow me to provide for my children. Okay, and what do you think that providing for your children, what feeling will that give you? Well, it'll make me feel secure. It will make me feel joy. It will make me feel like a success. So those 3 feelings are really what you're trying to get at through abundance. So just hear me out. So by focusing on those feelings instead of the way you want the universe to provide material things to give you those feelings, a way to energetically get into the flow faster and to vibrationally align to it is by focusing on those feelings as if they are already existent. So if I was wanting to have more security in my life, the feeling of security, I would focus on things that made me feel secure. And I would visualize myself feeling that way to vibrationally align with that feeling. And if I had things in my physical environment that made me feel secure, things that I could do, maybe it's a blanket or maybe it's a picture of something that I love or someone that I love, that just by looking at the picture, I get those feelings of security. I would bring those into my awareness and focus on them as long as possible to raise my vibration and to align with that energetic feeling, because we are in a vibrational universe and vibration speaks feelings. That's what we're emitting out. So there's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to realize how abundant you already are. Now just hear me out, because a lot of people shut down and they want to go into arguing for their limitations and saying all the things that they don't have and what's not working, but that's not you. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you are on a path of raising your vibration, increasing your energetic flow, and serving the planet. Here is something to really consider. Now, this is a fact by the CDC. It's current. I just want you to realize that there are 780 million people that do not have access to running water. They don't have access to running water. So they can't take a bath or wash dishes or even drink water from their faucet. Most of us use filters, but they don't even have that. So if you have access to running water and you can wash clothes and wash your dishes, you are doing better than 780 million people. You are really, really blessed. An estimated 2.5 billion people don't have access to sanitation, so they don't have a toilet. They can't go to the bathroom in a house, or they don't even have access to it, like not at a restaurant, nowhere. So if you have a toilet, then you are doing better than 2.5 billion people in the world. That is astounding. And so we sometimes lose sight of how well we're really doing and how blessed and taken care of we really are. So tip number 2 is to really recognize how abundant you really are already, and to recognize how you have that certain feeling that you're after in your life in many ways. Just try to become a conscious observer of all of the many blessings and all the things that you have to be grateful for that are in your life right here and now, because that also helps you to get into the vibration and to generate more of that. Tip number 3 is sow the seed and program it. So what I mean by that is give to a charity or someone in need, and when you are giving the gift, program it. The way I program is I hold it in my hand and I say a blessing, and I say a blessing of gratitude. Thank you so much for giving this to me. I want this gift of whatever amount to bless this person. And I pray that by giving this token of faith and gratitude that I am blessed and that this thing happens in the way that you see fit. Something to that extent. But you're essentially programming what you're giving. You're sending the energy into that item, and then you're passing it along and you're releasing it. So that is my third tip. So as I'm closing, I can hear someone saying they don't have anything to give and they're struggling so much. And so what I want to say is it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be something really small. And if you really just don't have anything at all to give, it can be something as little as like picking a flower that the flower gave you permission to pick, or writing a note. There's always something that you can give in exchange energetically. There has to be an energetic exchange. Everything is give and receive, give and receive. That's the way the laws of the universe work. So you want to be a giver so that you can also be a receiver. And so those are my tips. Focus on why you want the abundance. That's number 1. Get into the feeling of it. Stay there as long as possible. Number 2, recognize how abundant you already are. We are so blessed. Sometimes we lose sight of that and we start focusing all the things that we don't have instead of focusing on what we do have, and we have way more than we even recognize and realize at times. And the third one is sow your seed and program it. Send it out with blessings and gratitude and faith that you will always be taken care of and what you need will always come to you. And I always like to close with a little bit of energy healing. So let's do an energy healing to just clear away any fears and financial tension that you may have, knowing that you are worthy, that you are blessed, you have a ton to be grateful for. Just sending golden energy. Letting it wash over you so that you can integrate these truths. And you are blessed. You are abundant. And you have much to be grateful for. And so it is. Okay, everyone, I hope that helped. If you have any podcast suggestions, you can send them to me at susan@blendedinsight.com. You can connect with me on Facebook. It's Facebook Blended Insight. And as always, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy life to connect with me on my podcast. And I wish you a bright, abundant, amazing, and gratitude-filled day.